I'm going to stand in front of the podium so you can see me. Hi, I'm seeing this super cold, soft dessert going around, and I just had dental surgery, and it's looking so good to me, so excuse me if I salivate a little bit. I'll put this here. Can you guys hear me okay? Great. I first want to thank Kelly and Calandra for inviting me to share my story today. Postpartum health is something that has shown to be my life purpose, my path, the passion that I share with other mothers. My name is Kira Malone. I'm the founder of Mama Manifest, which is a platform to support mothers in their journey of matrescence and enjoying motherhood. It is my firm belief that all mothers are worthy of enjoying their motherhood experience their way. In my experience, that joy was robbed from me because I didn't understand how I was affected by pregnancy loss, traumatic birth, and lack of postpartum support. So I'd like to share my journey with you today through my various postpartum experiences and those that really brought me to my knees and asked me to surrender to something greater than myself. My first miscarriage was in 2012, and I went into a mild state of depression for about 6 months. Until I pushed for a career promotion, reached my career goals, and thought, okay, well now I'm over it. Can you guys sense that I'm a little bit of an overachiever? When we decided to get pregnant again, we did right away, and I began a journey of dreaming of my dream birth, which was going to be an out-of-hospital natural birth. I had done a lot of work on preparing myself for this birth, although I was quite nervous. I was a cesarean baby myself, and having a mother who had not had a natural birth. When it came to time to give birth, I had a very traumatic experience. That was a 40-hour labor that ended in 4 hours of pushing, and then finally an emergency cesarean. My baby was perfectly healthy, and everyone wanted to tell me, well, at least your baby's fine. At least you have a healthy baby. You're fine, she's healthy, don't worry about it, you're so lucky. But inside I was broken. I was experiencing trauma, and I didn't give myself the space to honor that trauma or to grieve the birth that I wanted to have. My midwives could see it. My friends could see a little bit of it, but mostly they just saw an empty shell. I was shaky, I was nervous, and to my surprise, although I wanted to be a mother my entire life, I didn't actually enjoy it, and that hurt. A couple months postpartum, my loving nurse practitioner, our family practitioner, tried to hint to me that I might be suffering from some postpartum depression symptoms. She mentioned to me, this depression doesn't show up as it manifests in other depression. You'll start to notice that you're a little bit shaky, that you worry too much, that you're worried about safety. And I thought to myself, I'm just frickin' tired. I'm tired. Don't push that on me. I love my kid. I love being a mom. What's wrong with me? No, I'm fine. And I pushed it aside. As my daughter grew older, I was able to put her in preschool, and as soon as she turned 2, I did that, and I began to reclaim my opportunity for #self-care. And I began to go to yoga again and take time for myself and actually be able to work without my child by my side, which I had been carrying my kid around with me. And I thought, okay, I'm finally getting this. I need to take care of myself. I recognized that I had some mommy martyr type mindset issues that I had to work out, where I was sacrificing, martyring myself, so I worked on that. And suffered through a couple miscarriages in between my 2 daughters that were born. And I realized that although I thought that I was taking care of myself, everything for me is spiritual, and therefore if I'm suffering multiple miscarriages in a row, that there's more to the story and I need to seek more help. So I did a lot of work to take care of myself and bring in more of the energy of receptivity, fertility, balance through acupuncture and other methods. I also really wanted to have a VBAC, which is not legal in Santa Barbara County. Well, you can do it now at the birth center, but not at Cottage. So I fought hard to find a place where I could give birth the way I wanted to give birth, and I found that in San Luis Obispo, and I have so much respect for the women that took me in. I manifested my dream birth. It was the most spiritual, most amazing experience of my life, and the only time in my life I ever really felt that I truly surrendered. And I thought, I have arrived. I am healed. I feel good. I know how to take care of myself. I've had my dream birth. I feel so good. And in comparison to my first pregnancy and birth experience, my loved ones thought I was doing great. I looked great. I had color to my skin. I looked happy to them compared to my 5 days in the hospital after my Hazel was born. My support left within a week of having my daughter, my second daughter, and life resumed as normal. I was having to schlep my other child to preschool. I was up all night nursing the baby and up again at 5:30 to get my other child to school. There was no nap time to sneak in a nap. And I was trying so hard to keep up with everything. I noticed that my mood was slipping, and I thought, I have to take care of myself. I'm frantically trying to take care of myself. What can I do? I'm gonna go to hot yoga. I'm gonna drink green juice. I'm just gonna self-care myself. There's gotta be a way. Within 8 weeks postpartum, I was diagnosed with postpartum depression. I drove up to my final postnatal appointment with my midwife, sat down on the couch with my 3-year-old and my 8-week-old by my side, and she looked at me, and I just burst into tears. And she looked me in the eye and she said, we need to put you on antidepressants. You're at high risk for postpartum depression. And I lost it because I was trying so hard to take care of my kids, my husband, my marriage, my work, my clients, myself. I was getting up at 5:30 just to go to yoga because that's what they tell you to do. And it wasn't working. And that's the day that I completely surrendered. I drove home an hour with my kids in the back of the car, and I just sobbed. And I called my husband and I said, I need you to call the midwife. I don't know what to do. And he did. And then I said, please call our nurse practitioner who sees our whole family, and he did. Because in that moment, I needed my husband, my number one support, to hear from someone other than me what I was going through and what I needed. I needed him to hear that I needed sleep. I needed him to hear that I needed support. I needed him to hear that it was okay to pay for a babysitter because I was going fucking insane. And he listened. And sometimes I get angry that I had to go through all that just to get my husband to listen to my needs. But the reality is our partners don't know what we need. Our families don't know. They're just as confused as we are, and they don't know how to help us, and they want to. So through the course of my postpartum journey and in my life, I choose to see everything spiritual. I decided to surrender into the support of a few people that I really trusted in, and one of those was our family nurse practitioner. And I called her and she said, honey, just come on in, we're gonna do some labs, we're gonna figure out what's going on. I'm suspecting some thyroid issues and we'll figure it out, please don't panic. I have you, I support you. So I'm going in, I'm doing the blood work, and we really can't find anything but some hormonal imbalances. I had incredibly low testosterone, and I'm thinking she's gonna wanna do some crazy medication with me or something, and she takes one look at me and she says, you need sleep. And I said, tell that to my husband. So from that point forward, we began a journey of healing. And now I have the honor of leading other mothers through healing their own journey. I decided to take the route 100% holistically because for me, I knew that my postpartum depression was a cry from my soul to allow me to be changed by motherhood, which is something that our culture doesn't honor, and it is a determining factor for those clients of mine who are also experiencing postpartum depression and anxiety. We have to allow ourselves to be changed, to be different, to evolve. And that was my experience with that. So over the course of about a year, it took me about 3 months to go from postpartum anxiety, which I was diagnosed with. When I began my healing journey from postpartum anxiety, it got worse before it got better, and it manifested as postpartum rage about a month into my healing journey. And I remember very clearly, a morning I was on the couch exhausted with my 3-year-old and my infant. where my very spirited, highly sensitive 3-year-old was not behaving, and I hit my child. And I burst into tears. I'm not the kind of person that does that, but I did. And I went upstairs, and I locked myself in the bathroom with the baby, and I called my husband, and I said, you have to come get her because I'm gonna hurt her. And I'm freaking out. And I got off the phone and I screamed like a lion on the cold marble floor, I kid you not. And he drove home and he came and he got her, and I spent the whole day feeling like shit. How could I do that to my kid? I love my child. What's wrong with me? And my postpartum rage that manifested, it's something that we don't talk about. It's something that we mothers keep to ourselves. It's something that is so taboo. It's not welcome. It's something that it lives within us. And in my experience, that rage was coming from that anger, and that anger was asking me to transform. Coming from someone who was a high overachiever, recovering perfectionist, linear way of thinking, lots of masculine energy, I wanted to set goals, achieve them, and I sucked at being a mom. That's what I decided. I was a failure. And it got so much worse before it got better that I would look at my husband and I would say, I wish I didn't say anything. I wish I just kept going because it's so bad now and I don't know what to do. And he'd look at me and go, I don't know what to do. You tell me what you need me to do. And I felt so alone in a room of people that loved me and so unsupported, even though people were trying to support me because they just didn't know what I needed. It was very hard to feel like that. But above all, I felt incredibly misunderstood because I knew that at the root of this, there was something else going on. There had to be something else. This wasn't like me. My name actually means sunshine in Russian. I don't get depressed. Something's wrong. And over the course of that year, we finally uncovered that I had underlying hypothyroidism, which for all of you practitioners out there will know that the symptoms of hypothyroidism are almost identical to that of postpartum depression. Brain fog, malaise and fatigue, anxiety, depression, these are all symptoms. And we discovered that I had hypothyroidism, but it took a year of testing, and my practitioner had suspected it all along. It's actually my firm belief that most mothers could forego these mental health concerns if they were being properly evaluated for things that are off balance in their body from a hormonal and a nutritional aspect. Certain things that really helped me heal naturally included changing my diet to a high-quality fat-led diet and eating frequent, complete protein to help balance the neurotransmitters in my brain. Did you know that in the last few weeks of pregnancy, the mother transfers 9 grams of fat from the placenta to her baby every single day? And that fat is coming from the mother, and we can't regenerate that on our own. Is anybody telling the mothers to eat a bunch of fat? Is anyone saying brain fog is actually because you don't have some of your brain? I mean, come on. So as I began to uncover more and more about postpartum nutrition, the importance of sleep, began to value myself as a mother, I really began to see and grieve this process that I didn't have access to, that this information that's out there that I wanted, and it wasn't there when I tried to find it, but I found it eventually on my own, and it was hard. There are 2 books that I came across after the journey of my own was healed, and I want to mention those to you today because it is my firm belief that each of you should have a copy of them. I did not write them, although someday I will write a book. The first one is called The Postnatal Depletion Cure by Dr. Oscar Saralak. It is absolutely fantastic. And it explains the micro and macronutrient deficiencies, the hormonal imbalances, and everything that the mothers are going through from a physiological, emotional, and spiritual level after having babies. I encourage each of you to have a copy and share it with your clients. It's amazing. The other book is called The 4th Trimester, which I didn't purchase when I was in the middle of this because I was past my 4th trimester. I bought it about 6 months ago. It's also amazing, and it covers nutritional values and other things that are important for the holistic health and holistic well-being of the mother in the postpartum period. There are so many things that we can do to help mediate these symptoms that we're having, and the most important thing that we can do is give the mother and her family the information that they need to thrive, to help them feel supported, to help them understand the root causes of some of these imbalances and how it's not their fault. Sometimes it's the answer of just a simple nutritional change, more sleep, more support, so many options. And I just invite you to be curious about this and to really stand for uncovering uncovering the root causes of these symptoms with me, because each and every one of you in this room has heard the call to help mothers and families postpartum, and it's amazing. It's amazing to look around this room and see everybody here for the same cause. I'm open to answering questions, and if you have any questions about the resources or further information about my story, I have a few different podcasts in which I'd share more versions of the story or other parts of the story with you in my recovery and how I support mothers in coming into their fullness so that they can fully enjoy motherhood. And I think that's it for now. Thank you.